was like, you're either fuck yes or absolutely not. And it was like, I'm going to end up in the same situation, if not here, with someone else. And I need to take this time to figure out why. Like, why? What is the why?
I remember, I think it's in your documentary, you kind of talk about how your dad wasn't like entirely secretive about his infidelity with you, and it put you in some really difficult situations. Like, how, when you look back at your younger self, do you think those moments impacted you as a little girl?
Yeah, of course it impacts you. I think it definitely leaves an impression of like, oh, so that just happens. And like younger me, teenage me, outworking my dad, being a better husband, being a better father, really standing on my I could never. It's different when you end up in your own situations, you know? And like I said, it wasn't just this particular relationship. It was like every relationship I had ever been in was a dynamic of me hoping that things would be different and masking this like subconsciousness of passiveness around this. To stay or to leave is anyone's choice to make, you know, for themselves. And I made my choice, and I made it from parts of me that I, like I said, really worked on and earned to feel good about that decision. But I also can see all the other sides now, you know, and it's really a relief to be able to talk about it, because I know that there's so many people who don't know me, fans who are very supportive and very loving, you know, who saw me kind of going through this from an outside lens, not knowing the details, not knowing everything that actually happened, not knowing that what you see is not always what it is. And I feel like for them to know, like, it wasn't something that was done passively, and it wasn't something that wasn't done taking everything into consideration. It's not that it was important to me for validation, but it was important for me in the sense of standing up for myself.
Absolutely.
You know?
And I also, just to like reiterate what you're saying, I think it's so, I can even feel it from you. I'm also happy you're talking about it, because I can imagine, even if you don't give a shit about what the internet says or whatever, like, it is a little bit of an attack on your character when people are calling you weak or whatever. And you're like, there's so much that you don't owe people to tell them the amount of work you were doing behind the scenes. But what I would assume is like, this is one of the most amazing parts of your life now that you've worked through it. And this is someone you genuinely love. And so to not be able to like feel fully like you can celebrate it because there has been this stigma, like, I hope this now allows you to just like release that and know that like there shouldn't be judgment around this, and you shouldn't have had to explain this. But now that you do, I can imagine there are so many women listening being like, okay, like, how many of us have stayed and it did work out, and that's beautiful. And if you didn't, that's beautiful for you, but we can't judge anyone's situation, right?